It's good to know that you're still there with us, moving into the conversation properly this morning. 2023 elections are setting agenda for political aspirants. Let us look at the major political parties that we have in the country that are vying for political powers. We have 18 presidential aspirants, but yet only 4 are notable, or let me just say we have 3 major political parties that are at the top table. We have the PDP, the APC, the Labour Party, the PDP in person of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. We have the APC, and that is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also have that of Labour Party, and that is in person of Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State. Looking at this top 3 political parties, it used to be 2 parties before, and that is between APC and PDP. Now that we're having the third force, and that is the Labour Party. Not to talk even about the NNPP that is there to share the votes of the northern parts of the nation, as it is being said. And also we have the likes of Showore also that's vying for the position of presidency in the nation. It seems that in Nigeria, over time, that we've been tolling the same line of ideologies. There is no distinct ideologies. And most times when it comes to election, we focus more on the presidency. We focus more on the incoming governors, the gubernatorial election. That is not the only position. We also have the National Assembly, we have the Senate, we have the State Assembly also. Why are we not focusing on this? Those are also major determinants of what will come up as regards leadership in the nation. So let us just focus on the presidency now, the presidential aspirants, and what we should be on the lookout for, as they are actually telling us what they want to do that will be different. This morning, I will not be the only one doing the conversation. I have with me in the studio a person from Act Up Africa, Critical Path Leadership Initiative, also, and that is in person of Mr. John Oluwafemi, and he is going to do justice to more of resetting agenda for the next president of Nigeria this February 2023. I welcome you to the program this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
It feels so good to have you around because you are well grounded when it comes to the acts of governance and setting an agenda. Just like I have said, that setting agenda, it seems that we don't have distinct clarity when it comes to we having manifestos, distinct agenda from the top major political parties we have in Nigeria. And how do I mean? Even though we know we have APC, PDP, there was a time that the one that we thought would be different, Peter Obi, was saying that he has the same ideology as Atiku. There was a time he said that because they were formally in the same party. And looking at it, it seems there is only one party system in Nigeria because all of them, they are interwoven. One has been this place, the other has been there. So moving ahead, why is it like that? And to you, our dear viewers, to join the conversation, you can simply dial the numbers that will be shown on your TV screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, you mentioned the fact that you mentioned the word ideology in the first place. For me, I really don't see ideology in Nigerian politics.
Okay.
There was a time we had a conversation, we call it Ibadan conversation. It was a town hall meeting that we had in Ibadan, and we were sampling the opinion of people, asking them what they think is the ideology of political parties in Nigeria. You know what they told us? They said there is no ideology in Nigeria when it comes to politics. The only ideology that you have is money ideology.
So how do you want to take Nigeria to the next, or to the let me say, the promised land that we are always hoping for?
So for me, I believe that we've been focusing more on the politicians, forgetting the fact that party themselves, they are structures that we actually need to work on. Because I tell people that we only shop from what the party has actually shopped. If there is a language like that, going to the market, you have the freedom to go and buy whatever you want to buy. It's whatever you write on your list, that's what you will buy. But for us as Nigerians, we actually don't buy what we want to buy. We only buy what they made available. So it means that if that is what democracy demands, that it is the party that will actually go to the market and pick something that we are going to buy for us, it means that we need to focus on those who are responsible
for shopping.
So it means that when they now shop, we can now pick between those lists that they have actually provided for us. Okay, APC has provided Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. PDP is giving us Atiku Abubakar. LP is giving us Peter Obi. NMPP is giving us Kwankwaso, and several other parties. I didn't look down on any other party, but let's just restrict ourselves to the ones that we have actually mentioned. So for me, it means that we only have to pick from what they consider that this is what is right for us. Now the question now comes in. The question is, what intention do they have when they were choosing all these people? Because the intention for anyone outside there is for them to have a government that will work for them. But the question we have to answer as citizens also, the people that we have in the parties, are they the type of people that will actually consider development over their own personal ambition? So, because if you look at the trend of things over time, you will realize that these are people who will complain about not being able to pay minimum wage. I saw an article somewhere. The person was saying that someone that is earning over 37 million, that is having a package close to 37 million naira per month, is saying that they won't be able to pay someone that will be taking 30,000 naira.
Now, I like the fact that we are taking this from the bottom, from the roots. That is the root cause of the problem that we are facing in Nigeria. And to you, our viewers, I know that you want to contribute to this topic, setting agenda for 2023, and that will be displayed on your TV screen now. The phone numbers that you can call also will be displayed on the television screen, and now for you to be a part of the program. You talked about maybe as regards shopping for we that we eventually shop, shopping for the shoppers this time around. Now, for us to get things right, since you talk about the political party, is every Nigerian supposed to be involved in politicking at the political party level?
In fact, let me tell you, if you go to every other developed nation today, they have where they are tilted to. In fact, once you are born as a citizen of a particular country, you already have a party that you would like the ideology. That's where the ideology issue comes in. Like, for example, in the US, we have Democrats, we have Republican, and these are people that, if you look at them very well, you realize that there is something that you will know Republican for. There is something that you will know Democrat for. And those things actually played out during the time of Bush. You will realize that this is someone that, he doesn't actually have time for deliberation. But when it comes to the time of Obama, Clinton, I guess, yes, when during their own time, they will sit down on the table and do what we call negotiation. These are ideologies. The country, the foreign policy of the country will be very strong when it comes to protection of their citizens.
Let us see if the scholar agrees with it. This morning.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from, please? We lost that. You can still try the studio lines back, calling the number that is displayed on your television screen right now to be part of the conversation of setting agenda for 2023. And what we're talking about is about even these political ideologies and being part of politics in Nigeria for us to select and elect the right leaders. You can go ahead.
So for me, I think it's high time Nigerians start thinking about, we all have to belong to a party. That's a whole lot of people may not agree with me.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. We lost that again. Sorry for that interruption.
Okay, so for me, I think even if you are not going to be a like a card carrying member of a party, we must start looking at, okay, which of this party actually looks like what I want. Presently we have almost 18 parties in Nigeria, so it is not all of them that you won't actually find the type of thing that you are looking for in them. Like, for example, we are saying youth must be at the table, they should not be shopping for us. Then do we have a party that
a minute, please, sir?
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Chief Talker to calling from Ghana.
Good morning, sir. How are you today, sir?
Good. You see, the ideology that we have in Nigeria is, I don't know how to describe it. Take for example, the president will want to commission a project. He will carry the host of Nigeria to that place just to commission a road that is not up to 5 kilometers. Stagnating everybody that is supposed to be productive in Nigeria. Just because we want to commission a road. Why would he not assign that one to commission of works? The person will go there and sign it. When he's satisfied, people will use it and know that the thing is going. Away from that small, there is something that is paining me so much in Nigeria. I was talking about Koji, the way they handle the traditional ruler, questioning him. Wike in River, that's his own. El-Rufai also his own. Now it has come to Kwara State, questioning traditional ruler. It is a high time the Nigerians begin to question these people before they get to Nigeria. Lastly, P2B have gone to Chatham House to tell us how we want to handle Nigeria. Somebody in g5e is beginning to tell what P2B have done in Anambra State. If not for any job that P2B have done in Anambra State, Obi said he's not owing anybody in Anambra State. Pray the contractor, the workers, the pensioners, is it not enough to, okay, Buhari will leave very soon. How much is he owing Nigeria, in Nigeria? He should clear Nigeria debt for us to count it as what he has achieved in Nigeria.
Thank you so much.
We should be worse in Nigeria.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very much.
Chief Chokando from Ghana. We appreciate your contribution this morning. The number is still displayed on your television screen to be part of the program and to make your thoughts known on the program. You have this from Chief Talker. It seems everybody is concerned about how we are practicing our politics.
Yes, of course, and I think it is high time. Maybe if democracy is not going to work for us, maybe we should start looking at adopting and adapting it into our own style, because it seems that the type of politics we are practicing is not like what we have actually gone to copy. Just like what Peter Obi was saying yesterday, I listened to him, and his conversation was wonderful. He said we can actually go, there is nothing wrong in us learning what we don't know. We can actually go ahead and learn. If this politics, if the democracy is not working for us.
But the kind of federalism that we are practicing in Nigeria is that is being practiced in US. And why is it that we are practicing our own poorly? If we are going again to copy another style, are we going to replicate it and work more on their own, let me say, call it deficits that they are having? Are we going to make it better? What does the future project?
The thing is, we are Africans, and I believe we are smart. We know what is good for us, and what works over there may not work for us here. And that's why I said, I didn't just say adopt alone. We have actually adopted this style. This is democracy, but we can actually adapt this, because, for example, why do we have House of Assembly, House of Representative, and we have Senate? Because sometimes I ask myself some questions. What is the thin line demarcation between the two? What are, in fact, like KPI? What are they giving us? What can we actually say? This is the value of both houses that we are talking about.
So are you saying that we are duplicating the two houses?
Yes, that's how it sounds for me.
Because there was a time that an argument came up that the National House of Assembly, that they are working more than the Senate, and it appears that there is a kind of duplicate. Why should we have the Senate in the first instance?
Yes, because that was what I told people. I said in Yoruba we call it Ilegbimo Asofin. But I tell people is aṣojú-ṣòfin, because the most important thing is they are there to represent us, to be our ears and mouth. And if House of Representative is doing that, then what is House of Senate doing?
Now, moving fast to 2023, the election that will be coming up on February 25th.
Yes.
Now, we have this, you stated 4 notable parties that
yes.
they have their candidates. Now, what should Nigerians be on the lookout for? As regards this coming election, because we know that it's either make or mar. Nigerians are hopeful that we are going to get it right this time. So what are the basic things that we need to start paying attention on for us to achieve so much in 2023?
Yes, I think we have gotten to that place where we have to start setting the agenda that we are talking about. Now, I think the citizen, they cannot actually do much if they are not properly educated.
Okay.
Voters' education is very, very important. Citizen, the level of education we have, some of us are educated in Nigeria. We are some part of the country that is most educated in the world. But when it comes to politics, when you hear people talk, you realize that they don't actually know what they want for themselves. Example of the event that we had during weekend, we realized that when people are asking questions, they don't even know exactly what they want. You know, when you don't even understand the job description,
so how will you know the
right question to ask? That is where education, we have to first educate the citizen. And for me, it's becoming like it is a deliberate thing that the government, the so-called politicians, are using against the people
to becloud the judgment,
because they know they don't understand all these things. And if you don't understand all these things, how will you actually hold them to account? Now, the first thing, accountability starts from that question that you ask. What should we be looking out for? The first thing we need to look out for, the fact that, is this person, what is the track record of this person that we are talking about? That should be the first thing. Someone you just come from nowhere to come and be maybe local government chairman, the House of Representative, House of Assembly, he doesn't understand what is happening here.
So they need to start from somewhere.
They need to start from somewhere. You need people who understand, who identifies with the problem that you are facing, before they can actually deliver to the expectation.
So in Nigeria as of today, what major problems do you think Nigerians are facing?
Yes, I think I've mentioned the basic one. If the basis for development in the world is education, how do we solve the problem of education? And I'm not saying education in terms of Western education alone. I'm talking of when, according to one of the best people that defined education, they said education is knowing good and doing good. Reorienting our value system, looking at how do we make citizen enlightened. Because for me, education could be formal, could be informal, and the value of education is to transform the life of people. And what is development too? Transforming the life of people. That means we need to start looking at, okay, how do we educate? How do we educate Nigerians? Education should be one of those things that they should be looking for. 1, 2, thematic areas. Another one is health, good health system. Like, if you look at Nigeria today, it is obvious. We don't have to say much. In fact, it's like telling stories. They have told us that a health system is nonsense in Nigeria, because most of our leaders, they travel abroad anytime they need healthcare services. So it means that there is a problem. Their own act alone shows that there is a problem in our health system. Like, I'm not actually shooting shots at anybody, but the fact is, go and look at all those that wants to become the president, the number one job of Nigeria. All of them, there's none of them that will not tell me. Don't let me say there's none of them. Some of them, a whole lot of them, will travel abroad for medical care. So what are we saying? It means what we are saying is we know there is a problem in our health system. 2, another thing that we should be looking at for is someone who understands economy. We don't need someone that will tell you that we'll keep borrowing. Fine, there's nothing wrong in borrowing, but if you are going to borrow, you must invest it in critical infrastructure. It's Nigeria that you hear so many vocabularies. Yes, we mentioned critical infrastructure. What are those for critical infrastructure? Because whatever critical infrastructure that you are talking about must be able to yield results.
And that should be education, the F sector.
F sector, transportation. Now we have invested in train, railway system, and people cannot use it because of banditry. Which takes me back to education. In 2018, I released a video and I said, when I was concluding, I said, if Nigeria if we are not careful, the money that we didn't invest in education, because that time the budgetary allocation to education was dropping drastically, because in 2015 when this government actually came in, the education the budget allocated to education, I take it, I don't want to quote wrong, but it was around between 15 and 10%. But when they came, it dropped to 8%. Now it dropped to 7 point something percent. That is education. And I said if we are not careful, the money that we refuse to budget into education, we will spend it on insecurity.
And
that was 2018.
To buttress what you have just said, looking at 2015, the budgetary allocation, that was the analysis I made during this morning's chit chat. The budgetary allocation for Nigeria was below 5 trillion in 2015, but now we are having over 20 trillion naira that's budget. So that is, it has actually tripled. And more than we. And now the highest portion of that budgetary allocation is for security. It's
for security and servicing debt.
But now, presently, how are we going to have a budgetary allocation of over 21 trillion naira, and yet we are only having a proposed revenue generation of an average of 10 trillion
10 trillion naira,
so
yes.
You said there was nothing wrong in
borrowing, yes.
But how do we meet up with that? How do you want to achieve?
No, I said in a normal setting, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Every countries of the world also borrow. But the truth is, they invest that money in what will bring value.
And that is not what we are not doing right.
That's what we are not doing right. Like, for example, okay, go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Ekiti State. My name is Gordon Mike.
Okay. Your contribution, sir?
Now what I guess I'm saying. But one of my contribution is that I don't like the words, the interlude words to put on. You see, it discourages us. Like today now, the interlude started by 7:45, and we now start another program until 10 after 8. And after something, the 25 minutes is too much.
We are sorry for that, sir.
25 minutes is too much for the wording. Education is the best thing. If you want to plant a rice, so it's too much.
We are sorry, sir.
Make your program snappy.
It was due to some technical errors. That was why it took so long. We are sorry for that.
Please. Okay.
We are sorry for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you.
Sir. He was actually talking about the number of time that we are taking on our interviews.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, for me, I still believe that country like Nigeria, we can actually borrow, but if we invest that money in critical infrastructure that will bring results, like for example, assuming if you go to Lagos today, you realize that the amount of time people waste in traffic. It's like Nigeria, we don't actually calculate everything holistically. We just believe that, okay, when I invest, I must make so amount, forgetting the fact that time is also equivalent to money. Like someone who is going from just going from Magodo to Ikeja alone, and the person is actually stuck in traffic at Ale for 2 hours.
So that means that
you might actually lose the business you want to go.
The inappropriate transportation system in Nigeria is costing us a lot.
A lot, and we are investing so much into it. We are investing so much into it without result. Like, for example, they attacked Abuja train, Abi, isn't it? And it took a whole lot of time before they can actually bring it back. Even despite that, the number of people that are actually going for train now has reduced.
Now, setting agenda for this 2023 2025 election for the presidency. Out of the points that you have highlighted, have we seen anyone that you think has been able to cut across, or that we can say that okay, this one is the right leader without mentioning him?
Okay.
Do we have anyone, or we just have the same box of people? That we have no choice to make, distinct choice to make.
Yes, without being biased. I don't want to be biased to anyone. A whole lot of them, they are actually making promises, although we still be having dancing jamborees in most of all these campaign, where we are supposed to listen to critical things they want to do for us, but yet it's still our normal usual party. But they actually have picked some of those things they've said. I think one of them said is going to revive Ajaokuta when he went to Kogi State. So some of them said they work on economy, that Nigeria is going to actually get, although they didn't explain how they are going to achieve that. I think LP, Labour Party, his own slogan is from consumption to production. And I think he said that yesterday as well. And I think they are just giving us pockets. Some parties, they are still doing their normal traditional style of abusing one another, leaving the critical things and discussing. But let me be factual here. Peter Obi has been doing a great job when it comes to telling people what he will do. There is no single place he will go that he will not mention that particular phrase that we have just mentioned now, that is going to take Nigeria from consumption to production, and it will give you list of things that is going to do around it. I think he's been talking about accountability. You know, I'll be biased when it comes to accountability. That's what I do.
Looking at what you talked about, we looking at pedigree,
yes,
where they're coming from, and that was why I said that we should avoid mentioning of names, because a lot of people we actually talk about the pedigree. Just yesterday, a lawsuit was raised against the PDP presidential aspirant, that he was into some against some code of conduct acts and the whole lot. And when we look at that, some we say that we have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed also, that he has done it in Lagos State and he is going to take Nigeria to a better place. Some we talk about Anambra, that he never owed anyone. Checking the track records, we definitely find something to allocate to all this.
Each of them.
And during the time of Obasanjo, they said that it was Atiku Abubakar that managed the economy of Nigeria. That was why we were able to pay off our debts. Every one of them, we definitely get something. You can pick something from them.
Yeah.
When we say track records, every one of them has something to put on ground. But now we are talking about distinct traits that we should be very careful of. Electing, you've talked about earth status, but the security situation.
Yes, I think part of those things that we have to be very careful of is Nigerians should look at when they actually needed people to speak for them. Who are those that actually raise their voice? Because you can't just be a leader. You can't like I tell people, I said we all consider most of these people, once they become a political leader, we tend to see them as leaders. They are two different things. And going back to our history, you will realize that most of those people that performed very well as our political leaders, they have been leaders of class in their various constituencies. I mean, their communities, their tribe, their regions. It is not the politics that make them good leaders, but they were leader. It was because they are leader, that was why they make them political leaders.
So
but
there was
today,
a form of accountability in that.
Yes, they understand the process of accountability before they even get into government. But the question we should be asking ourselves today, what is their leadership record before they get into political office? So these are the first thing that we should put in front of all these people that are jostling for the number one position in Nigeria.
I think that should be a question for Nigerians to
yes,
to look into that. But because of our time, I'm being told that we are having a very short period of time to wrap this up. I want you to give your a kind of takeaway word for us. What will be the parting shots of the program today?
For me, I think in order for us to set agenda, Nigeria must understand that it is very important to learn how to engage their citizens, their leaders, because we first need to understand that we hold the power. They are not the one in power. We don't need to dance in front of them. They actually need to dance in front of us when we are asking them questions.
Responsible for their
yes, because accountability is very important.
I think that is enough to take away. We should take our leaders more responsible for the promises that they are making.
Yes, because they are rolling out so many things now, and we should draw our own scorecard and using that scorecard as a checkpoint when the time comes to hold them accountable.
That's a great one here from the studios of Impact Africa Television, and to you out there, we also been able to tell you that making right choices, making the right decision for the 2023 February election. How are you going to make your choice? What will be your pattern of making preference? That's okay, this is the person that deserves my vote. One man, one vote. But don't forget, we talked about our voters' education also. How well are you also getting yourselves educated, even if they are not educating us as regards the voting process? That will be all we'll be taking on today's edition of AM Cafe from IATV. We appreciate you, Mr. John.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Mr. John Oluwafemi is from Act Up Africa and the Critical Path Leadership Initiative. That should be all we'll be taking today. It's been a nice time here with you, our dear viewers. Till tomorrow I'll be coming your way again. I wish you nothing but a prosperous day and a pleasant day. I am Oluwafemi Olla. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.